Most men try to be loved. They bring flowers, tell jokes, do everything right. And then she forgets them. Machiavelli didn't play that game. He never taught how to be a nice man. He taught how to be the one she can't erase, even when she tries, not by pleasing her, but by leaving a mark deeper than affection, a presence that lingers, not because it begged to stay, but because it never needed her to remain unforgettable. 1. The power of fear, not violence, but boundaries. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than to be loved." At first, it sounds cruel, but he wasn't wrong. This isn't about fear of pain, not yelling, not threats. That's weakness dressed up as power, and women see right through it. Real fear is quiet. It's the fear of losing a man who doesn't need you to feel whole, a man who walks away when he's disrespected, not out of spite, not to teach a lesson, but because his self-worth isn't negotiable. He doesn't argue. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't send long texts explaining his value. He simply disappears. And in that silence, she learns what words could never teach. That his love was a privilege, not a guarantee. That his presence came with terms, not to control her, but to protect himself. You don't become unforgettable by giving everything. You become unforgettable by knowing when to give nothing. Especially when your standards are crossed. That's not punishment, that's clarity. A man with quiet boundaries is more powerful than one who demands respect, because he doesn't need to ask for it. He embodies it. And when she realizes he's not bluffing, that he won't bend to stay in her life, something changes. She doesn't fear the man. She fears losing the man who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't break. And that kind of presence stays, long after he's gone. 2. Don't be a good man. Be a man she can feel. They told you, be honest, be kind, work hard, and love will come. But the world doesn't reward truth. It rewards presence. It responds to how you're felt, not who you are beneath the surface. You can be loyal. You can have depth, vision, discipline. But if your voice shakes, if your shoulders slump, if your eyes drift when hers meet yours, she won't feel any of it. Because attraction doesn't start with facts. It starts with feeling. She's not reading your resume. She's reading your rhythm. How you walk into a room. How you look at her without needing her. How you hold stillness even when your heart races. That's what she responds to. Not what you say, but what she senses. You don't need to perform. You need to embody. When you're unsure, stand like a man who knows. When you're angry, speak like a man who's mastered fire. When you want to chase, don't. Let her feel the space. Because when you stop trying to be a good man, you start becoming a man with weight, with gravity. The kind who doesn't beg to be felt. He just is. And in that presence, she finds something rare, not niceness, but power in calm and mystery in restraint. 3. The lion and the fox. Don't react, don't retreat. She will test you, not to hurt you, but to see if you can hold your ground. She'll shift her tone, pull away without warning, say one thing, then do another. She's not confused, she's watching you. Do you panic? Do you chase? Do you explain yourself into weakness? Most men do. They fold fast, thinking they're fixing something, but they're just proving they can be moved. Machiavelli once said, "A powerful man must be both lion and fox." The lion is strength. He doesn't bark. He doesn't beg. He holds the line without raising his voice. The fox is intelligence. He sees through the setup. He waits. He calculates. He strikes when the moment is clean. Be only the lion. She'll provoke you until you explode, then call you unstable. Be only the fox. She'll feel the charm but doubt your spine. But be both. Be still and sharp, silent and strong. And suddenly, she can't predict you. That's when tension builds. That's when obsession begins. When she's emotional, be the fox. Listen, don't flinch. Let her waves crash on your rock. When she crosses a line, be the lion. One look, one pause. No threats, no raised voice, just presence. That's the man she respects. Not because he controls her, but because he controls himself. 4. Divide not her, but her mind. You don't argue with her beliefs, you don't push, you don't correct. You drop one sentence, soft offhand, almost like a whisper. She says, "I hate jealous men." You smile, calm, steady. Do you? Then silence. That's all it takes. No debate, no defense, just a question without a verdict. Now the work begins. Inside her. She replays the moment. Not because you were loud, but because you planted a crack. Not between you and her, but within her. Part of her still believes what she said, but another part wonders. Why did he say that? Why did that stay with me? Is that what I really think? That's the beginning of division. Not forced, not hostile, just curious confusion. And when a woman is torn, when certainty dissolves into doubt, you become more than a man. You become the space where her thoughts return. Not dominance, not drama, just quiet psychological gravity. 5. Reward slowly, punish once. When she crosses the line, you don't scold her, you don't lecture, you don't react, you disappear. No warning, no drama, no guilt-tripping, just silence, just absence. And that stillness stings more than any outburst, because there's nothing to push against, no voice to fight, only the echo of her own choices. Then, when she gives you warmth, when she shows up with respect, you don't drown her in praise. You give her something small, a glance, a pause, a quiet good that feels earned, then nothing again. She starts to learn, not through your words, but through your patterns, that your attention has weight, that it can't be predicted, can't be played with. You're not a faucet, you're a storm system, uncontrolled, unrepeating. This isn't cruelty, it's discipline. You don't train her with noise, you train her nervous system with timing. Fast pain, she remembers. Slow reward, she chases. That's not manipulation, that's structure, and structure becomes power when applied without emotion. 6. Watch her, then say one line. Don't watch her body, watch her behavior. When she's with a man she respects, her voice softens, her eyes linger, her posture changes. When she's with someone she controls, her tone sharpens, her back straightens. She takes up more space. You don't judge it, you don't call it out. You just observe, quiet, present, still. Then one day, the moment opens and you speak. Just once. You're smiling, but it doesn't feel real. No tone, no accusation. Then silence. That silence cuts deeper than any compliment, because it's not praise, and it's not performance. It's truth. Truth that sees beneath her image. Truth she wasn't ready to hear. And now, she's not flattered. She's exposed, not by force, not by pressure, by presence. Most men try to win her body. You saw her mask and named it. Now she has to ask, what else does he see? What did I reveal without meaning to? That's the moment she remembers. Not the kiss, not the compliments, but the man who said one sentence and made her question everything. 7. Control through absence. Show up too much, you become background noise, predictable, easy to tune out, disappear at the right moment, and you become a question she can't answer. You don't slam the door, you don't announce your silence, you don't punish, you just step back, without anger, without explanation. Not to hurt her, but to remind her. Your presence was never guaranteed. You're not a constant. You're not air. You're not the man who stays no matter what. You are gravity, and gravity doesn't beg. It pulls, and only when it chooses to. When she reaches for you and finds nothing, her mind begins to spin, not in hate, but in curiosity. Where did he go? Did I push too far? Will he come back? Now she's no longer enjoying your attention. She's haunted by your absence. And that's where power lives. Not in presence, but in the timing of your retreat. You didn't vanish to control her. You vanished to protect your value. And when you return, calm, whole, unmoved, she won't see you the same. Because men who can leave without warning are never taken lightly again. 8. Be her turning point. Don't be the ex she forgets. Don't be the fling that fades. Be the shift, the moment her story changed, the first man who didn't beg, who didn't lower his standards just to stay, who challenged what she believed, then walked away. No drama, no goodbye, just gone. But not really, because in her mind, you stayed. You became tied to something deeper, not love, but transformation. She may move on, date others, laugh again, but somewhere, quietly, you remain. Not as a name, but as a mark. A moment of self-reckoning she didn't expect. You didn't ask her to change, you didn't try to fix her, you just held the line and left when it was crossed. And that absence built a mirror. She saw not just who you were, but who she wasn't ready to be. That's why she won't forget you. Not because of what you gave, but because of what you walked away from without flinching. You weren't a chapter. You were the page that split the book. 9. Control is not a game, it's order. What you've heard, these aren't tricks. This isn't about manipulation. It's about protecting your value, about knowing that not everyone deserves every version of you. Your presence isn't a gift handed out for free. It's something that must be earned. Through respect, through effort, through truth. When you can hold silence without flinching, stand firm when tested, and walk away without looking back, you stop chasing. You become the gravity they orbit. Control, in its truest form, isn't force. It's restraint. It's knowing what not to say, when not to move, who not to follow. It's not about playing games. It's about creating order. Within yourself first, then in every room you enter. And when you build that kind of presence, people feel it, even in your absence, especially in your absence. If you're ready to stop proving yourself and start becoming the man who doesn't have to, comment below, I am the standard. Because real power doesn't shout. It just exists. And once it enters the room, nothing stays the same.